I am joined by the co-main event for UFC Liverpool. Craig White, I just said co-main event. How bananas has your, I don't know, past few days been, my friend?
Past few days is a bit more chilled out than you'd expect. Like Tuesday was absolutely fucking hectic. The minute it got announced at 2 o'clock, my phone was going off till 12. Um, I did like a 20-30 minute drive home basically from work because I finished work early that day. And my phone battery went down like 30% just being in standby. Like it was just notification. Like my coach was getting the same. It was just relentless all day, and it's still been quite hectic like the days after, but it's eased off a bit now. Obviously, the shock of people realising that there's someone who's having their debut in the UFC and it's straight away to the co-main event. Like they've probably accepted that now. They've come to the terms of it. It's been hell in terms of that. But it comes with the nature of the job, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. So.
Oh, well, I was going to say, you're not new to the game. That's one thing people, if they've looked into who you are, you're a veteran. It's the best way to put it, man. You've not had a couple of fights. You've had a fair few scraps, and you've mixed in between middleweight, welterweight, and then you kind of settled at welterweight in that Cage Warriors run that you've had. And it's just seemed to suit you so well. What made you decide that I'm definitely going to stop being lazy, put down the crusty creams, and go down to welterweight?
You've genuinely summed up. I just decided to stop being lazy. I still do eat a lot of donuts and stuff though, so that's probably my problem out of camp. But no, basically, I was being lazy with it. I didn't want to do weight cuts because I took before I started my run at welterweight again at Cage Warriors. The last time I fought at welterweight was on Cage Warriors against John Redmond, and I took that fight on 9 days' notice and lost 17 kilos, and I felt horrendous. Like genuinely, my body was not enjoying that. Like, so at that point, I was like, right, I'm not going to do this cut again. Obviously, to be honest, it was more the time I had with the cut that was the problem rather than the cut itself. So I had a little stint at middleweight. Won as many as I lost, I think. I can't even remember. But I fought Mike Shipman back in 2016, and I just remember clinching up with him within the first 5 seconds, and it was like a man mountain. I still cut about 10 kilos for that fight, but I'm sure he cut a lot more. But if not his physicality and his strength and his attributes he was just stronger than me. And I could just feel the difference. And I just got a bit manhandled that fight. And we just, literally the first thing we said in the car on the way back was like, yeah, we need to drop back down. Spent the whole year trying to get some fights, but nothing was materialising. And then the opportunity of Cage Warriors come up at the start of last year, and it just went with that.
I think you're kind of standout win as well. It maybe took everyone's eyes was the Matt Inman fight. That was I think that was the one that kind of catapulted you. Out of all the wins really. And I was watching. Obviously, I watch Cage Warriors all the time, and I saw that and I was like, okay, now it's legit. Now he's put himself in that UK welterweight bracket of top contenders. And did you feel like yourself as well that you kind of went, yeah, I am, one of the ones in Britain who can call himself one of the best welterweights. I can mix it with them. I've just fought a guy like Matt Inman, who we know yourself is a great competitor and a great guy, a great name to beat, a feather in your cap that anyone would want.
Yeah, I mean, I've, like gradually over the year I started believing in myself a bit more. I mean, at the start of the year, I sat down with my girlfriend and I was like, yeah, I can't really be asked to fight that much this year. I want to stop missing out on seeing my friends and missing out on all these life events that everyone's having. When I was waiting around for the fight after Mike Shipman, I was kind of constantly on ready mode in case something come up. I was getting offered out for things and I was saying, nah, I can't. I've got this potentially coming up. And I just kind of had enough of it after doing it for so long. So it's sod's law that all of this happened off the back of that. Just over the course of the year, I felt like people were starting to realise what I'm about. I was given a good account of my skill set. And I think, like you said, the Inman fight was definitely a defining fight for me. Like I always said before, I love Matt Inman. I think he's a great fighter. I've always had a lot of respect for him. And the fact that I was given the opportunity to fight him, I was really amazed by and was really excited about it. And just over the course of the last 15 months, I've just gone from strength to strength. and that's put me in the position I am now, where I get the shot at the UFC next weekend.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, got a shot at the UFC standard. Just casual. Yeah. I think it is with Neil Magny as well. He's quite a long welterweight. He's like a daddy long legs, is what I look at him. He's got a massive reach on him. But you're not a short welterweight either, because you in theory kind of have the middleweight kind of stature, and you kind of like you say you've done middleweight, you kind of would, but you're fitting into the welterweight mold. I don't think he's going to have too much of a great advantage with that kind of reach, etc., because of your physique.
Yeah, well, luckily my last opponent, Alex Montanaghi, was really tall, really long himself. So in a way, I'm kind of fighting a similar build that I was training for before, which obviously has its advantages. But yeah, for me, like, I think there's not many welterweights which are as tall as we all are, and the fact that two of them are now going up against each other, both with like long, gangly, daddy long leg arms and stuff, me and my little noodle arms with like no muscles on. Yeah, it's just, I reckon it's a great matchup. Like, aside from what some people might think, because they don't necessarily know who I am, and that's more based out people outside of the UK, outside of the Europe scene that haven't really watched Cage Warriors. Because outside of that, like all the Europeans and people that know what Cage Warriors is, I've had a great amount of support from them, more than I expected, and it's been pretty overwhelming. It's been really good to see. It's definitely given me a good morale boost and making me feel a lot more confident. But yeah, hopefully everyone will enjoy the fight.
I'm pretty sure they will, if they've bothered to then see, okay, who are you, right, and if they bother to research his scraps, I'm pretty sure then they'll be, all right then, he's game. He's not fighting cans. They're not worried about who's getting. They'll start to realise that they've got someone legitimate brought in to face Neil Magny, because obviously you yourself, you were due to fight for the Cage Warriors welterweight title, and if, let's say, you got that fight, won that fight, and maybe defended it, you probably were only maybe less than 12 months away potentially from the UFC. Yeah, anyway. Maybe it's just an earlier call-up.
Yeah, well, that's what obviously we were maybe hoping towards, based on the current run of form, if it could continue. I mean, really, I should have had the Cage Warriors welterweight belt by now anyway, but the last fight Alex wouldn't take for contract reasons, wanted to try go with Bellator, which didn't work out for him, which is a bit of a shame. But like, for me, it's kind of frustrating because I'd worked my way for that shot. I was being given the opportunity. He was getting put in that position because of me. In a way, the Neil Magny fight is quite similar to that position. So obviously, I've been given a great opportunity to showcase my skills as co-main event because of who Neil Magny is.
Yeah.
But I didn't kind of bottle it and try and be a little bitch about the contract and stuff. I just signed up. I was like, genuinely was like, where do I sign up? Like, what else do you say in that situation?
Exactly.
So
negotiate.
Yeah. I'm not too sure on his contract terms for the UFC. Can you get me better ones? Yeah. I imagine that Graham Boylan would have loved it if I'd said that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it would have been crazy.
Your coach, Mr. Matthews,
yes,
renowned around the UK scene as one of the top coaches. It's going to be fantastic seeing him walking you out, to cornering you. For him, how did he feel about it all? Like, when he talked to you, like, is it just a moment for him? He's like, it's just proud, is it, so to speak? How did he feel?
Me and him spoke about it a lot, and like literally this morning we were talking about this because he works the door around where we live, and he's had people go up to him over the last couple of nights, be like, "Oh, are you proud of Craig?" He's like, "Well, I'm proud of everyone that fights." Like, we had guys fight last Saturday. He's proud of them. Like, I know everyone bigs up their coaches and their teammates and stuff, but I've not met anyone quite like him in the circuit. I know you've got some gyms have their connections and they're really close, and I'm very biased towards Dave, but I know exactly what he gives up and what he does to keep the gym running, to keep us going. He did last weekend about 1,800 miles between London and Wales because he had two different fights to attend and weigh-ins. And from that, like, he just keeps on going. And then he was straight in work all week, and obviously next week we're going to be doing the same. Week after UFC, my teammate Ben Reese is fighting Cage Warriors Northwest. And he's just relentless in the way he travels, and he's just excited. And at the same time, for us, it's business as usual. So although it's the UFC, like we were saying as well earlier, that we're waiting for it to sink in a bit, but I think it already has. And when we get there, it will definitely be completely different to what we're used to. But for the time being, we've been in this position time and time again. We've prepared for it through other fights. It's just that next level up. But at the end of the day, it's all the same event. You're still going to weigh in. You're still going to fight. You've got all the stuff in between. But it's what we're ready for. And that's the way he sees everything.
Yeah.
And he just has an amazing outlook on things like that, which make the environment we have at training really easy to manage, really enjoyable. And it's really why we're successful as well, just through him.
Yeah. He's like I say, he's renowned on the UK scene by people who follow the sport, and everyone knows what just a great person he is. Not as in a coach, but as a human being. Everyone can be a great coach, but he can be an absolute bellend as well. So he's a great person, human being. So I'll be there. By the way, I'm going to be at the event, but I'm actually going to be there before. I'm there from the Wednesday on, man. So I'll be saying hi and give him a shout out. So who have you got coming up with you? I imagine you've got quite a last minute rush of people to come and say, can we come and support you in some way? Because obviously ticket sales and that. But
we've had loads of people ask for tickets and stuff, but they're basically sold out. And if not, they're like 2-3 times the value they were. So I've got like my parents, my girlfriend, and Dave's wife coming up at the moment. I'm not sure if anyone else managed to get any tickets. I've got my two teammates cornering me coming up as well. I've got Ben Reese and James Price. Ben, who's fighting on the Cage Warriors card. James, who fights amateur, and he fought last weekend and won in Cage Warriors Wales. So I've got a good close team coming up with me. And yeah, I mean, it'd be great if I could have everyone come and support me. But I was probably looking at taking about 150 people at least to Cage Warriors London.
Yeah.
And so I've had to let all those people down, which is a bit of a shame. And then the majority of them wanted to try and come for this one, but it's like, nah, it's too short notice. So maybe next time, if there's going to be another UK one, which I get on in the future, which I'd hope I would do, so I can take a lot of support. But yeah, I mean, most of the support this time is going to be down at the local pub with people in Exmouth, hopefully shouting at the screen whilst they watch on Super Sunday, whilst getting completely shit-faced. So
yeah, exactly. Oh, because your fight will be about 8 o'clock in the evening as well. So
I think so. Yeah, I mean, main card starts at 6.
Yeah,
but then some betting websites seem to have Darren Till on at 8. So, but I don't know. Until I get there, I'm not going to know what time it is.
No. So they'll be way on their way to being absolutely smashed by then. Yeah, the pub will be Larry, but it'll be good. It'll be good atmosphere. I'm sure there'll be someone recording it for you so they can see, so you can watch that support. But I was going to say stuff like that when you're around back home, when you see everyone and they're obviously all proud and like happy and joyous. Like, does that just like kind of give you that pick me up as well? You're like, yeah, this is just amazing.
Yeah, I've just had it more like I've always had it throughout my career. Like I fought my pro debut in Exmouth at one of Dave's shows. I fought a few times in Exmouth before that and since then as well. And the support I get is always just great. But literally since the Cage Warriors run, people have gradually picked up more, like people you wouldn't expect to follow it, just general public, because they've been in the pub when it's been on, or one of the few pubs it's on. And my support's just grown, not just in Exmouth, but in Exeter as well, because that's where our gym's actually based.
Yeah.
But Exmouth's just a small town off the side of it. So, but yeah, just the local support has just grown and grown. And since it got announced on Tuesday, like I said, it's just been overwhelming, the amount of people that seem to know exactly what it is, what it's about, and what we're achieving as a team. And it definitely gives a massive boost. And I like the fact that I'm putting some little town on the map that no one's really heard of, although it is a pretty awesome town. We've got beach, everything. Like, what more could you want?
Yeah.
But
it looks good outside as well.
Yeah, it's nice. So, but I'm from a small team, from a small town, and I've achieved this through the small team and the small town. Like, over the years, we put in the hard graft, but it's just all the support, all the work that everyone's put in, whether they've been in it for 5 minutes or 5 years. Like, everyone's had an input in this in some shape or form if they've been part of my last 10 years of doing this. So all of it is thanks to them.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's that kind of support network that makes a big difference. And finally, I was going to say, I love your, I want to say fight name, but kind of Thundercats. Like, that touched me. A lot of people will be like, What's that? What's a Thundercat? But people who know what Thundercats is and watch Thundercats will appreciate what Thundercat is. It's an amazing TV show. But you're going to have to watch Deadpool too. Would you think Deadpool would fit into Thundercats these days if they did something like a mock version?
I don't know. I think he might be a bit too much for him, to be honest. I wouldn't have to see it. I think Deadpool would fit into most films, but I don't whether it would be a good matchup or not. I don't know. But I think Deadpool's just one of those characters where he can basically go into anything and do anything, but it's just how it's going to set the tone of the film, really.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to let you get going because I don't want to keep you tied up. I know you've got stuff on. Obviously, you've got to prep for coming. Are you going up Monday, Tuesday, or something? Are you? Is that when you're going up?
Wednesday.
Oh, wait, you're on Wednesday as well. I'll be there on Wednesday too. Then, so I get there I'm there probably about 4 or something like that.
Heading up yet, so we've got to try and work it out yet and see what time we need to be there for and that. So
signing posters. Oh, I've seen that 100 signatures in a row. Yeah, just no. Do you know what I've said to them all? Buy a stamp. Get a signature in a stamp and just sit there and go, done.
But you've got to put a bit of effort into it. Cause some people know that you want to do it.
Have a little kiss then with the pen. Do a little kiss. Before I let you go, give your social media so people who will obviously be going, who's this man fighting on Cage Warriors main UFC Kona main event, can give you a follow and look into your training and all that jazz.
Yes, I mean, if anyone wants to give me a follow on social media, all of them are at the Thundercat, but it's THETHNDRCAT because the Thundercat one was taken a few years ago, so I had to improvise and adapt. But yeah, just if you want to give me a follow and see exactly what I'm about, if you followed anything before from me, you'll know I'm an entertaining fighter and I'm there for the fans. People say it all the time about me, and I'm going to keep to that. So yeah, just give me a follow if you're interested in that.
Yeah, do not change how you fight because that is the worst thing you can do. The way you are is what made you get to where you are, my man.
I don't really need to change anything up. So
sponsors though, obviously soon we'll be saying Reebok, but sponsors out there.
I've had some great sponsors over the years. So you've got local ones like SRS Roofing, who he's literally supported me since the start, still to this day, and I think he was just as happy as Dave was when we got the call up. And the ones that just kept me going over the years got Just Saying and Odin Athletics, which used to provide me my Goku shorts, which I'm absolutely gutted I can't wear anymore because I love fighting as Goku. It's just it's pain. What else? I've got too many. The massage clinic in Exmouth, they've been keeping me in check a lot recently. We've got a gym up in Exeter Unit 7, which have started sponsoring me since my last fight, and just the extra sessions I've been able to get in there have definitely helped as well. One of my friends, Anna, who used to be a ringer on Dave's show, she is now a dental hygienist in London, so she's supported me as well. And the other main one would be Legacy Sportswear, who again come on board just before my last fight, and they've been kitting me out with gym kit. I've had to explain to them that I'm probably going to be stuck wearing Reebok now. I'm sure we can still work something out.
On the slide.
A few different sponsors in and out, and I mean, I'm trying to remember them now, but I don't want to be here for ages. But everyone that's supported me and sponsored me along the way, I'm very thankful. Like I said, they've all played their part in the journey. So I hope that they can take from the news that they've had that input, and if not, they listen to stuff like this when I'm saying it, and they can take away from it and just know that I appreciate it and I'm very grateful.
And finally, obviously, your massive training camp that you've had. Do you want to give a shout out to you? Obviously, you've mentioned you before, but training partners maybe that have helped you. Obviously, just in general, really, just give a shout out to people.
Yeah, just thanks to friends, family, for the support, the teammates, everyone at Lions Den. I mean, they just, for the last week and a half, they've been pretty on point and been straight in to help me out as much as I can. But I'll say thanks for Mrs., but I feel sorry for her because she has to deal with me constantly. She's having to deal with the mood swings, the amount of time I'm not at home. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing for her, though. She might enjoy it a bit more.
Yeah, I reckon more she enjoys it.
But yeah, I mean, just thanks to everyone. And I hope that everyone can tune in and enjoy the fight next weekend, not just the whole show. And I'm sure to give a nice and exciting performance and hopefully shock the world.
Some great British talent on the cards. It's going to be absolutely insane, mate. People can watch it on BT Sport, UFC Fight Pass, illegal streams, whatever. You can watch it, people. Just get on, folks. All right. So again, mate, thanks so much for your time. It's great talking to you. I'll see you when I get up there. I'll see you in Liverpool when you get up there as well. And we'll have a chat then and just have a great experience, man. It's going to be absolutely immense.
Thanks, John. I'll see you on Wednesday.